Hi, good morning guys, thanks for joining me. Hope everyone's well, hope everyone's having a nice week. Just a real quick video today. What I thought we'd do is talk about the cooking kit. I've had a few inquiries, one of the subscribers kindly asked just to see about the bottles and cups, that kind of thing. And also just after the last video, the steak video which I did, there's been a few inquiries just about the cooking kit in general. So I thought whilst the weather's not too bad, we'd come out. I've got everything packed up in the rucksack, so we're just going to pull everything out and just have a quick run through it and talk about the things I like to carry. Okay, so I've just laid everything out on the ground in front of us, obviously just out of shot at the moment, but I will pan things down and run through all the items like I was saying. But the first thing really, when it does come to the cooking kit, the first thing in mind is the fact that it does take up the majority of the space in the rucksack, that and the sleeping bag and that kind of thing. So when you're going out down the woods, or when I'm coming down in the woods certainly, the first thing I want to do is decide how long I'm going out for, the kind of weather conditions and the size of the bag which I'm going to be carrying, because with that being said, it's going to dictate the kind of cooking things which I can carry with me. So for argument's sake, if I'm just going out just for a few hours, I'd probably carry something like an haversack, and with the haversack not being too very big, it just means then everything's either got to be downsized or I'm going to carry less, hence for the reason for the different size bottles, the cups and that kind of thing. So I think the first thing we're going to run through is the item which always comes with me, the thing which I always use the most, and that's this item here. This is the brew kit. So when it comes to the brew kit itself, I like to carry them just in dry bags like this. It just keeps everything nice and dry, it keeps things self-contained. And just in this main dry bag itself, I do carry just a smaller dry bag itself. Then I've got the means for boiling the water, so a little spirit stove, spare fuel and that kind of thing. And just keeping it just in a separate dry bag. If this was to leak, it's just going to stop everything from going inside the rucksack. Also, it's just going to stop things from smelling, because that fuel itself, you know, can be quite strong and smell. So I'm just going to put just this cutting board out, and then I'm just going to put the items on, just so you can have a look just at the kind of things which I like to carry. Okay, so just out of this small little dry bag, like I was saying, that gives me the means to boil the water, so the spirit stove with a small bottle there with some spare fuel in it. We also carry just a spare cigarette lighter, just to make sure there's always some way of igniting it. And you perhaps noticed just on a few of the videos, when it comes to using the spirit stove, I tend to use it just in conjunction with on these little fire rings, which I just carry just on the outside of the bottle. And then that actually just sits just over the top of the little spirit stove like that, and then your cup can sit on top. There's enough out there for the flames to work through. It's just a nice little solid platform. So the items which I carry, like I say, just the items for boiling. I've also got the tea bags, the sugar, just in one of these little buckskin pouches, the salt and pepper shaker, just when it comes to actually cooking the food, just a couple of munchies, one of the grenade bars, which are quite nice, and also some of this spruce gum, not the best in the world, it is quite tasty. Just some way of just cleaning my hands, and then just in this little leather little pouch here, I've got a pocket bellows. Again, I do find these useful when you're using things like the little bush box or perhaps the wood gas stove. You know, there's nothing worse than trying to blow in them things and getting a face full of hot ashes and cinders, and those expand and pull out and work quite well, and like I say, very, very cheap. And when it comes to the fuel itself, just refilling up the little bottle and using it in the spirit burner. The fuel which I like to use is this bioethanol, and this has been brought in by Vango. And you can pick one of these litre bottles up for around about £5 from places like Go Outdoors and Millets. It does last quite a long time, and it does burn very well. So that's all the stuff out of the brew kit. It always means I've got a way of warming myself up by having a warm drink, or if I wanted to, I've got the means there of cooking a little bit of food. So when it comes to the rest of the stuff, I don't always just carry just a little spirit stove like that. I do carry other stoves. You know, it's always nice just to be able to make a fire and cook on the fire, but from time to time it's not always possible. Perhaps there's a fire ban, perhaps you're just in an area where you can't have fires. So that being said, the spirit burner itself works very well. And like I say, I've also got a couple of other options here which we'll run through. So I've just brought the stoves up just onto the stump here, just to move things out of the way, just so you can see things a little bit more clearly. So just run alongside the spirit stove. These are the other kind of stoves which I like to carry. So I've got a solid fuel stove there for Examine, them kind of things. And these are dirt cheap, you can pick these up for around about £2 or £3, and also including some of the fuel tabs as well when it comes to replacing the tablets. You know, again, they're very, very cheap. Just a little folding stove. Again, very handy thing to carry, very lightweight. And again, if you've got wood as fuel, it always means you're going to be able to cook your food and boil water. And again, another very reasonably priced item. Probably the stove which I'm using the most nowadays. This here is the wood gas stove. And again, you don't have to spend a fortune on these. I think this was around about £20–25, something like that. This is the Tom Shoe wood gas stove. Now, one stove, I've had this one for years and years, and this is the Primus Omnifuel. I don't tend to use it so much anymore, just down to the weight of it, and also it always means I've got to bring gas canisters with me. But again, if you're looking for a good reliable stove which is going to last you a lifetime, you know, then these Primus Omnifuel stoves are absolutely awesome. If it is that you leave the gas canister just in the position like it is, just standing up, it'll work as a gas feed. And if the temperature's just a little bit colder and you're not getting, you know, as much juice out of it, you can actually turn the canister just on its side, and the gas then goes more into a liquid feed and actually intensifies the burn. So again, a good handy thing to carry, but like I've just been saying, you know, a little bit too heavy for me. So these are the kind of things which you opt to carry nowadays, the things which you usually carry, you know, 90% of the time in the rucksacks. Okay, the next thing we'll take a look at is the bottles and the cups, and this is what the original request was for. So when it comes to carrying bottles, everyone has their own favourites, whether that's the shape, the make, or whatever it may be. But the bottles I like to carry tend to be the taller, skinnier bottles. That means then they can fit in the pockets of the rucksacks which you use. And just making sure that the bottles themselves will nest with the cups. Again, just keeping down on storage space. It's always nice just to make sure that the bottles themselves will slot into each other. And just whilst I'm talking about the room and taking space up just in the rucksack, one of the other things which I like to have on the cups themselves are folding handles, and both of these cups here I've actually got the butterfly handles on them. Again, it just means that you can actually just fold things away, and it just reduces the amount of room it's going to take up in the pack. So the water bottles which I do carry are these three here, and a couple of different sizes. I like to carry a 1 litre bottle, and this is the SIG. Basically just a 1 litre aluminium bottle, very lightweight. SIG have been around for years and years. And the thing when it comes to using SIG bottles, I never boil water in this bottle itself, just down to the liner. A lot of people reckon, you know, if you boil water in the SIG bottles, that the lining material actually flakes off. So I just tend to carry just clean water straight from the house in that. So that one there being a litre bottle, and these two here are around about 750–800ml, and again you can fill them with clean drinking water. But sometimes if I'm going away for long periods of time and it has come that I've got to start finding sources of water whilst I'm out, and then tend to carry just a couple of smaller bottles, it just means then that you can fill one up with dirty water, and you've also got a bottle there which you can always store your clean water in. You know, if you're going to just carry with you, let's say, just a single bottle, you may have it all full. You know, you're going to be walking off realising that there's no other water for quite a while. What you're going to do, you're just going to put dirty water with your clean water and then reboil it. You know, in my opinion, I prefer to carry just a couple of separate bottles, which means I've always got clean drinking water in one, and if I do come across a dirty source of water and it needs sterilising, I can carry it in this other bottle and deal with it as and when I need to. So the cups which you carry, I have got various different cups. These are the two which I'm using most at the moment, and one of these is the Pathfinder Cup, an awesome cup, not very expensive, around about £15–20. This one here being 700ml with the lid, it also means you can actually use that for cooking food in. And then the other cup which you carry is just a smaller little cup, just a small lightweight titanium cup. And again, if I'm carrying the haversack with me, it just means then it's not going to be taking up too much room. And it also means I can boil water in that, and I can also make myself a cup of tea. So just running alongside the Pathfinder Cup, like I was saying, just a perfect little cup for small meals. Perhaps I'm just taking the haversack out, that kind of thing. Again, you know, if you're going to be cooking beans, soup, perhaps packets of rice, then the size of that is going to be perfect. But there's going to be times when I will need larger items. Perhaps I'm going away for a few days. Perhaps there's group cooking going to be involved. So with that being said, we're going to have to up the size of the items, you know, and carry them in a bigger pack. So one of the items which comes with me quite regularly is the little Trangia mess tin. You can pick these up really cheap, around about £5 or £6. And it's just a lightweight aluminium little mess tin, very simple. Friction fitted list, which is quite tight. And when you buy them, they do come with this little handle, and also done with that is actually just strip the plastic off it. I think they're made more for gas stoves and that kind of thing, because once you put them over the open fire, that plastic soon melts off anyway. But like I say, for £5, not a bad little item. Probably the oldest item which I've got here, which is the MSR Seagull, and this is the Alpine Stowaway. And when I did the video about the Tom Shoe wood gas stove, this probably is the most asked question. What size is this little pan here, or pot should I say? And this one here is 1.1 litre, referred to as the stowaway pot, because the handle folds across and you can actually lock it just on that side there. And like I was saying, that just fits the wood gas stove perfectly. And again, if you can maximise all the space inside the cook pot, it's going to save room in the rucksack when it comes to carrying these items. So that's just stored in there nicely. It's just out of the way really. So this one here, you can pick up around about £20. You can get smaller versions, you can get larger versions. A good quality stainless steel. Like I say, the handle comes across. That just slots over the top, and then you can just lock it just on the front like so, and there's no way that that's ever going to come off. And again, these are at about £20. The only downside with them is that you can't hang them over the fire, so it's the kind of thing that you'd have to put on a rack or just slide it just in the fire itself when it comes to doing any kind of cooking in it. The larger pots, which I tend to carry, these don't need any kind of introduction. I think everyone uses these, and these are the billy cans by Zebra. I've got a couple of sizes here. So one of those being the 12cm and the other one being a 14. I've got a few of these 12cm. I do find them very useful. Like I say, you can hang them over the fire, or you can actually just slide them into the fire. You know, it's entirely up to yourself. But they do come with a good quality, sturdy handle. Just got a little bit of a recess there, like I say, so you can actually hang that just over the fire itself. And when you buy them, they do come with this other little dish inside. It was referred to as a rice steaming dish. I've never steamed anything in it. I sometimes use it as a small bowl, that kind of thing. But again, you know, good quality stainless steel. These are going to last a lifetime. When you come to buying this size, around about £10–15, depends where you buy them from. And the larger one is around about £20. So like I say, so this is a 12cm, that one's the 14. If we just put them just side by side, just to show you just the difference. So I'm not sure if you can actually just pick up the difference on the scale there, but this one being the 12 and that one being the 14. And when it comes to measuring these Zebra billy pots, the 12cm is 12cm tall by 12cm wide, and the 14 is 14cm by 14cm. You can also get a smaller one, which is a 10cm, and a larger one, which is a 16. But I do tend to find the 12 and the 14, you know, suit my needs. You know, 9 times out of 10, I'm coming out on my own, so the sizes of them are perfect. Like I say, there's enough room inside these to store quite a few other items as well. So the capacity inside, so the 12cm one is 1¼ litres, and the 14cm is 2 litres. And again, you know, around about £10–15 for that size, and up to £20 for this one. One other thing which comes with them, as well as the little steaming bowl, you also get a couple of plastic clips, and these are basically just put on the side there. They just clip in, just so that you can actually lock the lids. Once you put the handle up, the lid itself will actually lock on. It just means that if the pot actually tips up, there's no chance of losing anything, you know, out of the pot itself. You can actually buy metal ones. Once I've taken them off, I don't tend to put the plastic ones back on. Like I said, they're just going to end up melting in the fire anyway. but if you wanted to, you can get them off eBay. There was someone that was making metal clips, so you can actually keep them on and cook with them on, you know, all the time. So the little bags which they were in, I've just done a video about this, but these are the little canvas bags by 3 Trees products. Again, perfect just for keeping the suit and everything off all the other items in the pack. This one here, got a few pockets just on the outside for storing things like your spork, your spoons and all that kind of stuff. So like I say, these little pots don't need any introduction. I think most people use them. But again, the zebra billy pots, absolutely awesome, good quality and not too expensive. And that just brings me onto the healthy option, things like fry ups, or if you want to fry fish, that kind of thing. It's always nice just to carry a frying pan with you. So I brought a couple of different sorts out with me. I've got a Trangia Frying Pan, and I've also got one of the Bromwell pans. I'll just pan the camera down just to give you a close look at them. And the larger frying pan out of the two, which is this one here, is the Trangia Frying Pan. The diameter of that is 22 centimetres, so it's a nice size for cooking fry ups. Like I did that steak in it the other day, and I've also cooked quite a bit of trout in it. The thing which actually drew me to the frying pan in the first place is the fact that the handle actually folds just on the inside of the frying pan, so it's kept out of the way. There's no chance of losing it. Just like the cups, it's nice just to be able just to fold the handle out of the way for when you're storing it in the rucksack. And when it comes to buying these kind of things, this one here is the non-stick version, anywhere between £15 and £20. But again, just dependent on the size, or if you want that non-stick coating, or whether you just want the plain coating which they make. But again, good quality, lightweight, certainly going to last for years and years. Got a few little dinks in it, but that's just character at the end of the day, just showing there that it's been used a little bit. And the other little pan is this one here, used very much in the same way as a cast iron frying pan or a cast iron skillet, but these ones here are certainly a lot lighter. You probably notice now I don't carry any kind of cast iron, it's just too heavy, too bulky for the rucksack. But these kind of things made by Jacob Bromwell. I was actually gifted this by Wade, and this is the Frontier frying pan. Like I say, it's a stamped steel, so you treat it very much like cast iron. It needs seasoning, just keeping it out of the rain, or just make sure that it doesn't rust. This browning in the bottom here isn't rust. I've actually been using olive oil in it. This is just how it's turned out. If it carries on going like this and going a little bit sticky, I'll probably just clean that out and just re-season it with something like flax oil or something like that. But just checking them on eBay, these kind of things are anywhere from around about £15 or £20 again, just depending on the size that you want. But they are available in the UK. But these are the kind of things that you like the look of. So the last few things which I tend to carry in the cooking kit, I always carry with me a wooden chopping board. You can actually make them quite easy enough, but this one I purchased around about £5. And if you buy a wooden one, if you do lose it and you leave it in situ, it's going to break down, not like the plastic ones which you can get. It's also nice just to use it just to keep the food out of the dirt. And then I've also got a few wooden cooking utensils. So I've got the spatula and a few wooden spoons which I've carved, and then just the good old titanium spork. I think everyone seems to carry the spork's absolutely awesome bit of kit. And one thing which I do carry, but I haven't been using it all that much, is the cooking rack itself. So you can actually just put that just over the fire. It's going to give you a nice stable platform, whether you're going to be cooking with something like your frying pan on top of it, or if you wanted just to put your steak over the top of that, just on there itself, you can actually use it in that fashion. And then the plate, which I tend to carry out with me, again, it's just another cheap little stainless steel plate. It's got a little bit of a recess in it there, so you can actually use that for the bowl. And this one here is a small 20cm plate. I actually brought that in mind, so you can actually just store that just in the frying pan like so. And that's another item kept out of the way and easy storage. So like you can see, quite a comprehensive kit. There's enough items there to be able to cook, quite big meals, whether it's a group or whether I'm on my own and just fancy splashing out and having more than a pot noodle. And again, when it comes to carrying all this stuff, it does fill out the rucksack quite quickly. So it's a matter of choosing, how long I'm going out for, and selecting the cooking items which I'm going to be taking. I certainly don't bring all this stuff out with me every time I come down to the woods. It's nice just to have the option there whenever I do need it. So I hope that's helped the guys out who asked about these kind of things. Also, whilst I'm here, I just wanted just to see everyone just before Christmas, just to wish everyone, a real nice Christmas. I might get a video in just before the new year. I am thinking of going over to Wales, over to Bali. Probably just spend a couple of nights out there, so I may do a video. If not, I'll probably see you sometime in the new year. So like always guys, you just leave me to say thanks a lot for stopping by and watching the video. Like always, until next time, You take care, and I'll see you again.